information management is used interchangeably with information systems. To manage information, you have to use an information system. So information systems is used for information management. And information system relies on IT infrastructure that is made up of computer hardware and computer software, as well as the support systems. For example, a particular package in terms of a supply chain management package, or enterprise resources planning, or customer relationship management. These are all the support systems, customer care systems. So that's what we are going to look at in this chapter. But before I proceed, any questions from the first session? Any questions from the course outline that I discussed last week? Probably not. I do not hear anyone. Any questions from the last lecture? The last lecture that I delivered, again using the video broadcast mode, was not recorded because we somehow did not have that functionality at the moment, because I was using a free sign up Zoom account, but now I'm using an account from provided by USP, and I think Ralph is over there recording this lecture, and once it becomes available to me, I will put it on your Moodle course page. But you do have the PowerPoint slides of the last lecture, and I hope that you have gone through that, and if you have any questions, you can ask now, and I can clarify any doubts you have or any confusion. Explain anything that you did not understand. Okay, the last tutorial, I posted a question. You will see that this tutorial one is under week 1, and I posted the tutorial there, and you are supposed to provide a response to this tutorial, and you are required to start a discussion thread, a new discussion thread. Each student is required to start a new discussion thread, so that I should be able to check that everyone is contributing, because contribution towards the tutorial is 10% of the course. You will see that one of the assessments is class activities. And for class activities, you are going to do tutorials. And I will post tutorial questions, and you are going to respond to tutorial questions on your Moodle course page. I will talk more about tutorials once I start showing the assessment pages. But in the meantime, any questions about the last tutorial? Okay. We'll continue. The next tutorial questions are already there on Moodle. Any questions?
No, no question.
Okay, all right. Any questions about the course in general? This is week 4 of the USP semester, but it is week 2 for us. We have started late. We have started 2 weeks late. And those 2 weeks, we are going to catch up probably during your mid-semester break, or in some week once I arrive physically on campus in one of those weeks, which we will mutually agree we will double up and do 2 lectures instead of 1. Right, so moving on, my next slide of the PowerPoint slides for each lecture will have the last session slide and course announcements. So I have your course assessments ready, and I'll start talking about your course assessments in the next slide. And apart from that, I do not have any other announcements. Is there any student that wants to announce something or that wants to tell us anything?
Audio is okay.
Yeah, we.
Okay. So those of you that have joined in, please make sure that your mic is muted, your microphone is muted. You unmute it when you would like to ask a question or you want to talk. Right. So looking at the course assessments, if you look at your course outline, your course assessment is as follows. You will do class activities, basically the tutorials, and you get 10% for that. And these tutorials will happen weekly. So it started last week and will continue until week 10. 10 tutorials, 10%. Each tutorial, your response to each tutorial is worth 1%. The next assessment is on mid-semester test. That is 15% of the course. You are going to sit a mid-semester test in week 10. There is going to be an online quiz in week 12. I have details for all of this, and I have placed details for most of this on your course Moodle page, and I have details in the next slides as well. And once I get to that slide, then I'll start talking about it. There will be a case study presentation. Okay, if you have not yet, please go on your Moodle course page, click on the link on case study presentation, decide on the topic that you want to do your case study on, and send me the topic as soon as possible. Then there's a research paper. You need to get started on this research paper probably as soon as you can, hopefully this week or definitely by next week, because research papers, from my experience, takes a bit longer to write. I mean, for me, it takes like anywhere between 8 to 10 weeks to write a good research paper, so that it gets published in a index journal, indexed by Scopus, Web of Science, and so forth. But I mean, I do not know about you guys. You might be smarter and better than me, but my advice is to get started on it. Select a topic, send me the email. Each topic, maximum 2 groups can take each topic. And after 2 groups have taken a topic, the topic is not available. And as I indicated within the research paper guidelines, that it's on a first come, first served basis. And finally, there will be an end of semester test in week 15. Research paper is due week 15. End of semester test will also take place in week 15. Okay, so you can see from all the assessments and the weighting towards your course grade. Research paper is 30%. It's just like 1/3 of your course assessment. So you need to be serious about that and start working on that. And I'm going to talk more about the research paper in the next slides. So let me take you to the next slide, and then I will stop for questions after I have talked about each assessment. The first one is class activities, 10%. I have already indicated that each week from week 1 to week 10, a tutorial question will be posted online on your Moodle course page. And you are required to provide a response to that question. The question that will be posed or posted on your course Moodle page will be related to the topic of the lecture or the topic of the content of the week. And students are required to provide the responses. And these responses need to be supported with references and readings, so that I know that you have not just gone to Wikipedia and copied and pasted, or you have not just done a Google search and copied and pasted from there. So whatever you respond there, you need to back it up, and you need to show me that this is your source of information, this is what you have read. The responses will be, I will read those responses and I'll give you marks accordingly out of 5. So if I think you have provided a good response and provided evidence of readings with the proper references and so forth, I'll give you a full 1 mark. If not, it will be anywhere between 0, 0.9. So these activities, I'm not going to, ideally it should be closed within a week, but I will leave it open until week 10. And until week 10, you can provide responses to this tutorial question, but my suggestion or my advice is to you is to get started and do it on a weekly basis. So when you come to week 10, and by that time already you are supposed to be sitting for a mid-semester test, and in 2 weeks you are going to do an online quiz, and finalizing your research paper and case study presentation, and studying for the end of semester test. Too much would be going at that time. So get started on a weekly basis, get it done, and then move on to the next one. Okay, so any questions in regards to this class activity or this assessment, 10% assessment on class activities? Any suggestions? I'm open to suggestions, I'm open to comments, and I'm open to your recommendations. Maybe you know a better way of getting things done.
So,
Yeah. Reginald?
Yes. At the end of the week, for class activities, can a moderated set of answers be posted so that we know that what you are trying us to get to and what we are doing are in alignment?
Yeah. In fact, Reginald, there is no right or wrong answers. So I will see if I can get you moderated answers. For example, if you look at the tutorial for this week, week 2, the very first question requires you to go and search something on internet and write down what you have found. So different students will find different. So
yes, indeed.
Yeah. So again, these tutorial discussion questions are more of a discussion, more of an open-ended questions, and there are no right or wrong answers. And I'm sure, I mean, if you do whatever is required, you won't be taking the wrong path. But I mean, I have noted down your request for moderated answers, and I will do my best to provide them.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else, any question in regards to the class activities? Okay, so we'll move on. I mean, I'm going to talk for another 30 minutes about the assessments and rest of the slides. Then we'll take 10 minutes break when it is 5 minutes to 6. And then we'll continue when it becomes 5+6. Right. The next assessment is the mid-semester test, which you are going to do in week 10 of the semester. It is going to be a closed book test, and most probably it will happen during your lecture time. I'll give you the details later of the duration of the test, the format, and so forth. It's basically a short test to check on your comprehension of what has been delivered from week 1 to week 9 of the course, and just to get an understanding of how things are going and what your comprehension is. And this is a normal assessment that most of you are aware of because you've already gone through your bachelor's degree. The test would cover questions on all aspects of the topics that we cover from weeks 1 to week 9. It will not be a multiple choice question. I'll give you multiple choice questions for the online quiz. Again, for the test, it will be an open-ended application questions where I would like to check your application of the concept that you have learned to businesses, to organizations, to real life situations. That's all I have for now, and that's all I have to say on that. Any questions or comments from anyone?
So this is in regards to the case study presentation. I know you haven't.
Yeah, I'm going to come to that slide.
Oh, okay. I'll just wait.
Any questions or comments in regards to this assessment, mid-semester test?
No question.
Okay. Someone, anyone in the lab? Can I know how many students are in the lab?
We are 4 here.
Oh, there's 4 students there? Yeah, this was just a trick question to check people are still there and have not run away. Okay, all right. So next assessment is an online quiz, and here you are going to get multiple choice questions. 20 multiple choice questions in week 12. Okay, and I will put that quiz online on your course Moodle page, and it will get open from certain time to certain time, or you can go there anytime, start the quiz. You'll be given 20 minutes to answer the questions, and at the end of that, the quiz will close. Again, this is to test your ability to recollect and comprehend whatever you have been learning in the lectures. The quiz will be on the course content of lectures from week 1 to week 12. There will be 20 minutes to answer 20 multiple choice questions. This is probably pretty straightforward. Any questions or comments? Worst case scenario, what we could do is just take 20 minutes in one of the lectures, and I can give you paper-based multiple choice question where you can just circle your answers. We'll see how it goes. So I'm moving to the next assessment. Case study presentation and report. Okay, so This is due in week 14 during your lectures and tutorials. You need to identify a key area in information management and prepare a case study on the area. The case study should also be presented in class. You will work as a team of 2. No 2 groups should do the case study on the same topic. Email to me your topic as soon as you have selected one. Before I request for questions, what I'm going to do is I want to show you the actual case study document that I have placed on Moodle for you. Okay, so this is what you are going to find on Moodle. Can all of you see this page? Can all of you see this page? Anyone? Or is it that only I'm able to see this?
We cannot see that.
You cannot see it?
Yes.
Let me share it again. Where did it go? You can see it now?
Yes.
All right. Okay, sorry about that. So this is your case study. You will prepare a report. You will write a report, and you will do a presentation on that as well. And this is due in week 14. So if you look at your course outline, you will see that within the course outline under this course information management, we are looking at a number of topics, different topics. Okay, so out of that, you identify a topic. And if you have a new topic, or if you think that you have something that relates to information management and you would like to present on that, do send me an email and I will look at the topic, and most of the time I will approve for you to work on that topic. Okay? You will have to work in groups of 2 for the case study. Again, one of the reasons why at the postgraduate level we want you to work in a team or do projects or be in a project team or be part of a team is that this is a preparation for the real life work environment. When you go and get employed somewhere, and most of you would already be working somewhere, you work in teams. And for this case study report and presentation, you are required to work in teams. Okay, apart from that, this is how your case study would be marked, the case study report. And this is what your presentation will be like, and how your presentation will be assessed. So the total for both is 15%, the report and the presentation. Okay. Yes, Ralph, your comment on your question on the case study?
I was just wondering, if you'll be giving out a template for the case study presentation.
Okay. Yes, I can do that. I've noted it down, and before your next lecture, I will upload a template on your course Moodle page, and you can follow that template. And I do have, because apart from teaching computing science and information systems, I also teach management over here in Malaysia. And in my management courses, students write case studies. So I'll get information from there and share it with you on how to write a case study and prepare for a case study. Any other question?
No, I think that's it.
Any other question from anyone else regarding this assessment?
No, all good, yeah.
Sorry, another question, sir.
Yeah.
Would you need a draft or a proposal for the case study, or we'll just submit a
So
final?
not really. I do not need a draft or a proposal for the case study. I mean, what I'm expecting is that being postgraduate students, most of you guys know what to do, and I'll give you a template and I'll let you get started. But when I'm there from week 8 on campus, you can show me whatever you have, and I can comment on that.
Thanks. I think that should be okay.
Anyone else? Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Going back to the PowerPoint slide. That's about your case study. You have to write a case study report and do a presentation on that report. Okay. The next one is a research paper. This is 30% of the assessment. Okay. So you need to pay attention to this and attend to this seriously, because this whatever you get in this assessment is going to influence your final grade. And this is due in week 15 of your semester. So at the moment you are in week 11 of the USP semester. You have got 11 weeks to work on this. So you are required to write a research paper on a topic. I have already provided a list of topics. Okay? And it is there on your course Moodle page. Look at these topics, and these are all the emerging ICT trends or whatever is happening in the area of ICT. I want you to select a topic and write a research paper within the context of information management. And the context of information management is very broad. It covers information systems, covers management information systems. And the area of information systems is very broad. So I have just given you a broad topic. For example, I have just said cloud computing, I have just said blockchain, so I have just said fog computing, or I have just said social informatics or social commerce. Apart from that, I have not identified, specified, or narrowed down on what you are going to do. So what you are going to do is quite open. You have a lot of freedom to choose what you are going to do under cloud computing or under blockchains or under whatever other topic that you have over there. So I have just given you the broad field of the topic, and whatever you do is up to you. And again, when writing a research paper, you have to be very careful of the scope. You have to narrow it down to something specific and write a paper on that. And again, when I get on campus, I will conduct some research seminars for the whole school and faculty on for postgraduate students and for prospective masters and PhD students on how to do research and write research papers. And I hope that you will attend my research seminar. So what you are going to do is, once you have selected a topic, you will email it directly to me. Please do not send me messages using the messaging system within your course's Moodle system, because what happens is then I have to log into Moodle, go to the messaging system, and respond to you. I have given you my email address in the course outline, and the email address is here in the slide as well. Feel free to send me emails. I mean, you guys are why I exist or why I have this job. So you are not a disturbance to me. You are the purpose of it. So once you have selected a topic, send it to me. You can do this either individually or you can do it in a group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here and open this research paper document. Can all of you see this?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's like every time I have to stop the share and then share the new one. Here we go. You can see it now?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So 30% due on Friday at 4 p.m. week 15. This research paper, you will upload it on your course Moodle page, and it will go through the Turnitin software. You know, Turnitin software over there is all the universities use to see that there is no plagiarism, and that there is a student's assignment or whatever they have done is the original contribution. Okay, so what would happen is Turnitin will report some similarities. In the research paper, I still have to check this with the USP, what the policies or regulations are. Normally over here, I allow 20% of similarity index, because your research paper will contain literature review. And this literature review will be information from other papers. So I feel that 20% of similarity index is fine. However, if you go the easy way and just copy and paste paragraphs from other papers and from websites and from other sources and hand over or upload a copy and paste research paper, then you will have a problem, because it will pick up the similarity index. And at the moment, this all this software, the Turnitin is not the only one. There's many other software packages used by different universities in different parts of the world to check how original our students' contribution is towards the assignment, essays, or projects or whatever they have done. So I'm going to check on this and get back to you. So for the moment, 20% similarity index is allowed, but I'll look at what the university policy is. So this research paper should be done individually or in pairs. So the maximum you can have in your group is only 2 people. Some of you have selected a topic. Thank you for doing that. And the topics have been assigned to you, and no problems at all because most of the topics are still open. So when you send an email to me, please indicate, do write that this is for IS433. At the moment, I'm teaching 2 courses at USP. IS433 on Tuesdays and IS413 on Thursdays. Both of the courses have research paper as the major component, as the major assessment in the course. So please, in your subject header, do write to me that you have, do indicate that it is for IS433. And you write the topic of your choice, and you write whether you are going to do this individually or in pairs. If you are going to do it with someone else, I would like to know their ID number and email address. So general information about the research paper, you will see that the topics that have been listed there are all related to or already within the context of information management or something to do with it. And upon successful completion of the research paper, you will be able to complete or satisfy 4 out of 5 learning objectives. The other learning objective is satisfied by the other course assessments. But this research paper alone, you will be able to satisfy 4 out of 5 of the learning objectives. So this research paper will make you more knowledgeable. And for example, if you choose a particular topic, for example, if you choose cloud computing, you will, by the end of the course, by the end of writing the research paper, you will have a comprehensive knowledge about cloud computing within the context of information management. So apart from getting you the assessment, this is going to improve your knowledge, develop your critical thinking skills. You will become experienced in synthesizing information and developing informed views. You will learn how to write research papers. And I'm not sure whether I've indicated it here or not. I'm expecting, I think I have not indicated it here. I'm expecting your research papers to be, I have indicated here. In-text citations and references to be in APA style. Okay, so I have included that. So you will learn how to follow a scholarly research format that is APA in-text citation and referencing style in this case. One of the things that I would like you to get out of this course is a research paper publication in a high impact factor journal, indexed by Scopus, Web of Science, Thomson Reuters, and top indexes like that. And I'm going to tell you how we are going to achieve this, even though at the moment you are at the postgraduate level. This is not impossible. Okay, so these are the topics that I have. 16 topics in total. Okay, and popular topics like cloud computing, fog computing, big data, blockchains, cryptocurrencies and commerce, the dark web, health informatics. These are all hot areas of research at the moment within ICT, academics, practitioners, and researchers. Maximum of 2 groups or individuals will be allowed for each topic. The selection of the topic is on a first-come, first-served basis. So as soon as 2 groups or individuals have chosen a topic, for example, cloud computing is no longer available. So if you go on your Moodle course page, you will see that under the research paper assessment, there is this file called research topics taken. Research paper topics taken or something. And there you will find that what topics are still available and what topics are not available anymore. So to submit this research paper, you will submit a soft copy in Moodle. Only one member of your group, if you are doing it in pairs, can submit, but within that paper, all the group, the 2 pairs that are doing that, writing that research paper needs to be identified properly with the ID numbers. So for this, you have to come up with a proposal by 17th of August before 4 p.m. and you can email this to me. Minimum 2-page proposal, maximum 4-page proposal. The research paper itself is due on Friday, the 26th of October, 2018, before 4 p.m. Okay, the upload link will automatically close when it becomes 1 minute past 4 p.m. on that particular day. The research paper should be formatted using Times New Roman, 12-point font, single space, justified, minimum 8 pages, maximum 12 pages. Okay, if there is a need to increase the number of pages, do write to me, and I'm going to allow that, because at the end of the day, apart from grading you in this course, the other intention is to get your paper published in an indexed ranked journal. So this is the project proposal outline that you are going to follow. And all this should be contained in your project proposal. Okay. So, any questions or comments in regards to this?
Is there any word limit to this research paper?
There is no word limit. So at the moment, there is only page limit.
Okay.
And the number of words you are going to get will be almost approximately the same for everyone, because it has been specified that you can use Times New Roman 12-point font. Any other question?
Just like the case study, can you please upload any particular template for the research paper?
No, that is just a guide. You can use your own case study style or case study writing style. Is that what you are asking, or did I not get your question? Can you please repeat the question?
Basically, we want to know, is there any particular format for the research paper?
For the research paper,
Yes.
you are going to follow the APA style format. So that takes care of your in-text citations and referencing. And APA style format, I'm going to give, okay, let me note it down. APA style format. I'm going to share you a APA style guideline from my journal, and maybe you could follow that. Will that be good enough?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Any other questions or comments for this research paper assessment? Okay, so we'll take a short break. I mean, what I can see on my clock is 1:52 p.m. over here on my laptop. So it must be 5:52 p.m. over there.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Okay, we'll take a break and we'll come back at 6. Right, I mean, just checking in the USP lab 13, how many students are there?
We have 5 of us here.
Okay, there's 5 of you there, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 students from home. You guys already know that now, I mean, as long as we are doing this online video broadcast lectures, you can access it from anywhere, whether you are at home or wherever you are. You do know that, right?
Yes.
No? Okay. The other thing is that when you are logging in individually, the advantage is that you are able to interact one-to-one, chat with me privately, and you are able to ask questions using the mic of your PC or laptop, and I'm able to see you and you are able to see me. But for some reason, all of you have hidden your video. I just said that mute your microphone. I didn't say hide your video. I wanted to see you guys. Anyway, we'll continue.
Sorry, sir. Just before you continue, I just have a
Yeah.
query regarding the assessments.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just mapping out the assessments for the whole semester.
Yeah.
It's in regards to the class activities. So
Yeah.
you said there are 10 tutorial exercises.
Right.
So the 12. So how are you counting the exercises according to the weeks that we started, or according to the USP semester weeks?
See, the assessment, that is a very good question. Is that you, Ralph?
Yes.
How come you are so intelligent? That is a very good question. See, this is for us, for this course, this is week 2, right?
Right.
But I have made the assessments due according to the USP normal semester. Because come week 14, I have to stop. But I have extended 1 week only to week 15. And then I'm stopping because this course does not have a final examination, so I can do that. So every assessment, when you look at the due week, it is due in the normal, according to the normal USP semester. So your mid-semester 10 is in week 10 of the normal USP semester. And I'm hoping by that time we would catch up the 2 weeks that we have missed. And by week 10, I am expecting that we would have done our 10 lectures, 10 tutorials and everything. Do you get my point?
Yes, but if you count it like the normal semester weeks, it will be just up till the 8 tutorial. So it'll overlap the 8 tutorial as well as the MST quiz. So we'll up till week 12 we'll finish the last tutorial.
You think we will go up to week 12?
Yes. See,
No,
if you
what will happen is, I mean, I might be wrong, but this is how, this is what I was thinking, that I will double up. For example, there is a break before week 10, 1 week break.
right, the mid semester break.
So we will have the normal video broadcast.
Oh, okay. If that's the case, then that should be fine.
So that is going to cover 1 week. Either in week 9, week 8, or week 9, I'll double up.
Mm.
That is, in week 8, instead of doing 1 lecture per week, I'll do 2. Does that make sense?
Yes. No. My issue is that I hope it doesn't overlap with our MST quiz because we will be somewhat overloaded because we'll have the MST quiz.
Yes.
We'll have
that is one of the reasons why I have laid it out like that. So hopefully, I mean, I'm thinking that by the time we are in week 9, I would have put up 9 tutorials. That's what my thinking is, but I might be wrong, and I might be looking at it from a different perspective. But does it make sense that when I'm saying is that before week 10, I will cover these 2 weeks that we have missed? And in week 10, we will be in week 10 of our studies as well as the normal.
So I think by week 10 we'll still have an overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless in one of the other weeks we have you'll double up the tutorial like you mentioned.
So yeah, I will double up either in week, I think I'll double up in week 8. And I will, instead of taking a break, I'm thinking that we will not take a break and we will just do this online video thing. Does that make sense?
Okay, we'll see as it goes.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, and probably I'll have to go back to the drawing board and start sketching things out and laying things out on paper and see how it goes. I just laid it out in my brain and I wrote it down. It seems like I have to put it on paper and see how things are. Any other question from anyone else?
Just a quick question.
Yep.
Like some of us have already got planned leaves where we may be flying out of country on the date of the week of the MST. So we
Okay.
So is there any way you'll be able to accommodate that?
There is a possibility that we could do that, or we might agree on some other week, but you know, the way things are after week 10, you people will get heavily taxed and there'll be things happening left, right, and center. And before that, we cannot do much because we have to cover up so that there is content to be tested upon.
Maybe we can have any special or substitute exam. Is it possible?
Okay. So that you're talking about week 12, isn't it?
Week 10. We basically for week 10, the MST week.
The mid-semester test is in week 10. Okay, we'll talk about it in week 8, and most probably, I mean, you will have to come up with some genuine reasons on why you cannot sit for the mid-semester test in week 10. And there is a possibility that I can make another test and conduct it when you guys are available, and or maybe we bring it into week 9 or something like that. So yes, there is a possibility. There is a possibility. I mean, again, we need to look at regulations and check what can be done and what cannot be done, and I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, well, thank you.
Any other question from the lab? Okay, moving on. So at the moment, you students, you guys can only see my slide. You cannot see me, isn't it?
We can see you as well.
Oh my God. I thought I was only in the talking mode. This thing doesn't work.
We saw you were having your coffee.
That's why I was having more coffee, because I thought no one was watching. Oh, that's not good.
We also
Okay.
get coffee.
Okay. Tell me if you can see me now.
No, we can't.
No, no.
No.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Now I can have my coffee in peace without anyone watching me. Anyway, so moving on, there is one more assessment. Or before I go on to that assessment, so if you look at the order of research topics that I have laid out here, some of them are not applicable to you. Some of these are not even in as a research topic that you can choose from. But these are the 12 area of research that I am currently involved in. The first 6, going according to the order: 1, fog computing; 2, blockchains; 3, cryptocurrencies; 4, educational technology; 5, cloud computing; 6, mobile cloud computing are at the moment my primary area of research. And the reason why I'm telling you this is that if you choose a topic from the first 6, there is a possibility that I might be able to publish your paper in my journal. I am an editor-in-chief of a few journals, and I am the one that makes decision on which papers to publish. So the very first one is I have a journal on blockchains and cryptocurrencies. So if you have a paper on that, and again, the paper needs to be good enough. The next one is fog computing. If you have a paper on that, fog computing is fine because there is no pre-review. For the International Journal of Blockchains and Cryptocurrencies, there is a pre-review of your paper by InterScience, which is a publishing company in Sweden. Sweden or Switzerland, I'm not sure. I think Switzerland. One of those places. They do a pre-review before it comes to me. So sometimes they reject a paper before it comes to me. But if the paper is good, it will come to me. And if it comes to me, just because I know you guys, the chances of it getting published is very high. Fog computing is fine. It directly comes to me. Cloud computing is fine. And papers on education and information technologies, I look after the section on teachers and IT, ICT in developing countries, ICT in developed countries. So if you have any papers on that, or even for this course, if you write a paper on that, there is very good chances that it will get published. So this is something to keep in mind if you want a paper publication out of this course in a high impact factor and ranked journal, to choose according to that list. However, if you choose any other topic, I'm sure that we can work something out and get the paper published. So what will happen is that end of week 15, you will submit the paper to me for grading. And I will grade it out of 30%. And whatever you get out of 30% will go for your coursework. You'll be, added to your coursework and will become your grade. So after week 15, you are no longer my students. After that, we can work as co-authors. So after that, if you want, again, you will need to provide permission and you need to agree. After that, if you want, what we can do is work on the paper and make it suitable for a journal. And you will have to add my name to your paper, and then I'll tell you where to submit for publishing. And yeah, you'll get a publication out of that. And if your papers are on blockchains, cryptocurrencies, for computing, cloud, or educational technology, then these are the journals. But the other thing is I'm very mindful of putting my name on papers in my journal because it doesn't look good. Right. This is the final assessment, end of semester test, that is going to happen during week 15, where you will be tested on the entire course content. And instead of calling it a final examination, we just call it the end of semester exam or end of semester test. Okay, any questions? Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions at all from the assessments of this course?
Sam?
Yeah.
Yes, you just mentioned educational technologies.
Yeah.
But in the document that is uploaded on Moodle, that topic is not available.
Oh, it's not available?
Yes, it's in your lecture note, lecture slide, but in the document on Moodle, the 16 topics, it's not there.
I'll make it available because educational technology is relevant to information management because take for example, Moodle itself is basically about information management.
Yes.
And about managing information for teaching and learning. So consider educational technology to be one of the topics, and I will add it to the Moodle page.
Thank you.
Any other question, anyone? Okay, so that's all about the assessments. We have spent quite a bit of time looking at the assessments. So this is what you need to do immediately. Identify your research paper topic and get started on the proposal. Identify your case study topic and start working on them. Okay, so Moving on to the lecture for today, what we are going to look at is the common components of an information systems. As I mentioned earlier, for information management or to manage information, you need an information systems. So what is an information system made of? And in this lecture, it is dedicated to the IT infrastructure, that is the hardware and the software, and how this hardware and software is connected and laid out so that it is able to manage information. That is the blueprint, the architecture of an information system. Okay, systems, infrastructure and architecture. And it is important to align this infrastructure and architecture to business, because at the end of the day, information systems is there to assist your business. We will look at a use case example, a real live case example. We will look at the hardware components of an information system, software components, types of information systems, and so forth. So this slide was in my last lecture, and I did not have time to discuss thoroughly about that. But going back to whatever I said earlier, that these are the 5 components that are needed or that make up an information systems. So we are going to look at hardware and software today. Later on, we are going to look at data and procedures. And people is basically as people like us that use an information system. So when you are talking about hardware, you are looking at the physical devices, like desktop computer, laptops, mobiles, and other devices. Software, you're talking about operating systems like Windows, Mac, server operating systems like Linux and others. And application programs, you're talking about whatever you use for word processing, like Microsoft Word or presentation, Microsoft PowerPoint or OpenOffice or Microsoft Excel, your internet browsers, and a whole host of application programs that are available. And nowadays, most of our computing requirements are fulfilled through mobile devices. So all the apps that we have on our mobile phones. Data is that is captured at source nowadays. No one enters data into the computers nowadays because most of the data is already in the native digital format, and it is captured at source. Procedures, basically on how these components of hardware, software, data, and procedures are linked to each other, and how the people will follow procedures to get whatever they are trying to do with an information system to get it done. For example, whenever you go to an ATM to withdraw money, you are basically following an information systems procedure. And the procedure is very simple, but nonetheless it is there. For example, you enter your ATM card, and then there's a response from the information system. You enter your PIN number, then there's verification, there's another response, and then you are given certain options which you choose what you want to do, withdraw money, how much. So all these are procedures of an information system that you as a user follow to get a process completed, that is withdrawing money. And that's who people are. So moving on, you must be thinking, what is IT, information technology, and what is information systems? And they're the same thing, and they cannot they be used interchangeably? There is a difference. When you talk about IT, you are talking about the hardware and the software components. When you are talking about an information system is basically a system, a computer program that has been written to perform a particular task or a number of tasks. So an information system needs to be coded by programmers, by computer scientists to do whatever it is doing. For example, an airline reservation systems, a bank's ATM system, online banking systems, student management information systems that you use for your enrollment to check your grades and other things. This has been programmed by someone. Computer codes in a particular programming language has been written to provide what you see on the screen and the way you interact with it. However, this program, this information system needs hardware and software for its operation. For example, this information system needs to be installed on a computer, on a laptop, on a mobile device, or anywhere, so that we are able to use. And any device that you use, any desktop computer or laptop computer or any system at all, whether client server or whatever, will have an operating system, because operating system enables you to interface with the computer system. Okay, the computer still, regardless of how smart it has become and how much artificial intelligence we have built into it, a computer still only understands its native language, that is in binary form, zeros and ones, that is electrical signals being on or off. And we humans, we do not want to learn zeros and ones, and it is very hard for us to interpret zeros and ones. In fact, it is very hard for us to interpret even numbers. I mean, that's why we have, that's why we are using domain name systems. And these domain name systems, these domain name servers are one of the reasons why our connectivity, why our activities on internet is so vulnerable. If we were able to remember numbers, we would have no problem. For example, in the native environment, your internet browsers recognizes each website according to its IP address. For example, www.usp.ac.fj would be something like 256.254.19.8. But we don't want to remember it. We are lazy. So what we do is we type www.usp.ac.fj, and as soon as we press enter, it goes to a domain name server. And all this domain name server does is converts www.usp.ac.fj to 256.254.19.8. That's all it does. Likewise, that's what operating system does. It converts whatever we have written using English and mathematical symbols to zeros and ones. So going back to my earlier statement that information systems exist on information technology. And information technology is hardware and software. Hardware in terms of the physical equipment, software in terms of operating system and application programs. So you can buy information technology. Anyone can go and buy a laptop, a desktop, or any other mobile device. But you cannot buy an information systems. Why you cannot buy an information systems is because an information system needs to be developed. Nowadays, not much of that is happening because we already have a number of information systems that is available, and people just go and get one, and then they modify it, they customize it, and tailor it to whatever they want. For example, if you open a new hotel, you will need a hotel information system, a reservation system, or whatever the hotels have. The chances are you would not hire computer programmers and everyone else to come and write codes to develop an information systems. You will look at whatever, or you will check whatever the other hotel is using, and you'll get something similar to one of the software vendors. Again, looking at the hardware side of or components of an information systems, hardware, software, databases, networks, and procedures. So networks is a new addition in this slide. Information needs to communicate with other computers. Everyone within an information system needs to communicate with a server, access data and information from a database, and communicate with other servers within the local area network or the wider area network or international network, that is the internet. So network connectivity is needed, and nowadays for most of us, we are not getting network technicians or network engineers to come and lay cables for us. We just got connected to we just get connected to the internet through an internet service provider, and that's our network connectivity. So looking at IT architecture, it is just a construction of an IT system, that is how different computers, different devices, printers, servers, databases, and whatever you have within your IT system will be connected and will be constructed. So before that, you need to ask, do you really need an information system? Is it, because it's not free. So is it worth the cost? Is it going to make me money or save me money? And what contribution will an information system have to your organization? For example, you are a small restaurant that is doing okay. Do you need an information systems? Probably not, because it is going to be a cost that you cannot afford. And what are you going to do with an information system? Because usually what an information system provides is reports, knowledge, and business intelligence. So you have to wonder, you have to think, what business intelligence will you get by spending that much money, and what is your competition? You are just a small restaurant. Looking at IT infrastructure, it is basically a roadmap or blueprint that guides how to build IT capabilities, get it connected to a network, what services that you can use, what information systems are available, what software and hardware that is needed. It also defines the vision, standards, and roadmap, and gives priorities to what you want to do or where you want to dedicate your resources. Okay. I just received a message that the internet connection is not stable. Are you guys still able to see the slide?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I might go off or something. Hold on, there's something over here. Uh, okay. Right. So what you need to do is you need to come up with a blueprint. I mean, in a few other slides, we are going to do an exercise where we are going to look at a blueprint and IT architecture for a small business. And when you design the blueprint, there is, like, for example, the questions need to be asked is how many computers do you need, and how they will be connected? Will all computers have access to the internet? Who can do what? Who can access which information? Uh, how many of the computers will be connected to the printer? How many web servers you are going to have? What will be the network speed within the network, and things like that. So when designing the blueprint, you must think about business productivity and how you are going to reduce your existing costs. Your information technology should align with your business. A number of times it has happened that information technology or information systems has dictated and changed the way businesses operate because there was no proper consultation, there was no proper implementation. Companies went out and got an information system, bought an information systems, implemented, and then these information systems guys dictated, okay, now you are going to do your sales like this, now you are going to do your work like this, now you are going to do your work like that. And what happens is they basically change the structure of business, and this affects a business, and the chances are the business might go down or the business might do well, might not do well, because uh, businesses know what it is doing and how it is doing, and IT must align to business, not the other way around. Uh, the components of an IT architecture, okay, when looking at the blueprints, you need a blueprint for your business, the very first one, and everything else follows from there. So this is where, when it comes to developing an information system, systems analysts come in. And systems analysts are one of the most highly paid people within the IT industry. And the reason why they are paid so much and why they are able to demand such payment is they understand the business side and the IT side. So they would have majors, or they would have majored in information technology, computer science, information systems, as well as management, accounting, economics, and all those. So they will exactly understand what accounting procedures is being used, and then they will lay this down for the programmers to write the codes on, to prepare and ensure that the same thing happens once an information systems comes into place. So the very first architecture is the business architecture, and from there you build your other architectures, like the application architecture, that is the applications that are needed to meet and achieve the business objectives. Data architecture, how data will be captured, processed, and used within the organization. What types of reports would be produced? What information will be available to whom? What knowledge will be created? And how this knowledge will provide business intelligence and a competitive advantage. And finally, the technical architecture, that is the hardware and the software, how they will connect to each other and achieve as well as align to the business needs. Why do we need an IT architecture before we embark on any information systems development? Again, alignment between business and IT makes it faster to respond to business changes, gives you flexibility. If the economic environment changes, if there is new tax regulations, if there is new legislations, all you've got to do is make a few changes within the system and you are up and running. For example, I'm not sure whether they still charge VAT in value-added tax in Fiji, but we recently had, I'm giving you the Malaysian example here. We recently had a new government come into power. The election took place in May, and from June, a new government came in power. And from beginning of July, they abolished the 6% VAT that was being charged on all goods and services. So in order to comply with this abolishment or removal of VAT requirements, all businesses need to update or modify the information systems. And if you do not have an information system, it is quite difficult to go and do that. But if you have an information systems, you are able to respond to such changes very quickly. Closer partnership between business and IT groups. There is, nowadays business do not operate or exist in isolation. Most of the business are part of a supply chain, okay? They are connected to the supplier on the back end. They are connected to the distributor or retailer on the front end, okay? So they can connect the IT systems, and it also reduces the complexity of existing information systems, makes IT systems more agile, and the legal and regulatory requirements, I've already talked about that. Okay, any questions or comments so far? Okay, moving on. A typical IT architecture, there is, you have your business strategies and then your 4 architectures that gives you the business results. IT architecture ensures IT and business alignment. I think we have dedicated a few slides on ensuring that, because most of the time this is a problem in the business environment. Organizations, corporations, companies get a new information systems and it changes the way they do businesses, because the information systems, so IT dictates and changes the way businesses are done. And sometimes this causes the businesses to lose their customers or to lose money. So an architecture defines the following: the mission, vision, business functions, and future directions, information needs and information flow, and the processes for implementing new changes and responding to changes in the business environment. the current baseline architecture, target architecture, and the plans in which and how you are going to go about fulfilling and achieving your business objectives. And most of the time, the objective is to make money. So we are going to look at this use case example, and then we are going to stop. So Sam has decided to set up a new bar in Suva, specializing in craft beer and matching food. So, if you are in the IT lab and if you have people with you, or if you are alone, you do this alone. For a bar, list the systems that you would need to get the bar up and running. So just take 1 or 2 minutes and jot them down on a piece of paper. Okay, so let's see if our lists are similar. One of the things that I have listed is that to promote his business, to promote his bar, he will need social media. We'll probably need a website, inventory system, definitely, restaurant management system because he's going to sell food, payroll to pay people that is going to work in the bar, a rostering system because the bar would be open overnight, late into the morning, so he needs to roster people to work. Accounting system, security system, cash management system, banking system, music and video system, and probably cable TV. Okay, so he needs to consider a few things: what devices to buy, whether he's going to buy laptops, desktops. Nowadays, restaurants and bars have dedicated systems, point of sale systems. How will he connect them together? Software, which software? Restaurant management software. What will his team be able to use? Workflow of the bar. And basically looking at the hardware he needs, the software he needs, how he's going to capture data or acquire data, the procedures to be used in the bar, and the people, the users, and of course, you will need to train them on how to use the system. So if you look at the system, if you look at the 5 components, and if you look at the arrows at the bottom, automation moves work from the human side to computer side. And there is increasing difficulty of change as you move from the left side to the right side. There is increasing difficulty of change. To change hardware, it is easy. To change software, it is easy. To change data, really, it's quite difficult to change data because data is whatever you have captured. Changing procedures is quite hard, and changing people is harder. And as you move from the right towards the left, from people, it's really hard to automate procedures, data, but software and hardware, easier to automate. This is what the conceptual model of his IS or IT system would look like in terms of hardware. He'll need computers, terminals, mobile devices, routers and printers. Software, he'll need operating systems, application services, application programs and other services. Data, he will need facts and figures entered or captured into the system. He will need to come up with procedures on how the components are going to be connected together and who is going to use the system and how they are going to be supported. So this is what the blueprint looks like. How they are connected and interrelated. And this is the physical layer, that is the general overview. And then programmers will write information systems. So once it is installed, or whoever is, if he's buying it from somewhere else, whoever is installing it will come and do the connectivity and make sure that these different devices are able to communicate with each other. And there might be some issues. Well, what is going to happen if the internet goes down? How are you going to roster the staff? Can the customers access the company's Wi-Fi? What are the security risks? Systems infrastructure questions that needs to be answered. What is the system going to be used for? Who is going to use the system? What do they need to achieve? What are the core functions, the processes, software, and hardware devices, and how does it all connect? Other things to consider: how is he going to staff his bar, the bar staff, the restaurant staff? You know, you need people that have skills or are willing to learn how to serve drinks and make cocktails and so forth. Restaurant staff, you need people that know how to cook certain dishes. Inventory system, how you are going to update that. And he can also use scenario planning. So these are the hardware components: input hardware, processing hardware, output hardware, and storage. Client-server architecture, client computers, server computers. Software components, operating systems and application programs, and types of information systems. Okay, so I think it's almost 7 p.m. there. I'm going to stop this share, and I'm going to check if there is any questions, clarifications, or anything at all that you guys need before we stop today's session. So the very first question that I would like to ask is to have a feedback of today's session, and did you find any difficulty with the delivery of whatever we did using the Zoom software?
No.
Anyone else? Any other comments or feedback?
This system works fine for me. I don't have to drive 40 minutes to USP every day.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Anyone else? Aisha, where are you guys from? Where are you? You are with Saleshni, Salaniata, and Miriama. Where are you guys?
They're in Samubula. They come here.
Okay, and do you guys work together?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. So all of you are attending this session, sitting there together. That's not bad. I like that. And what is the reason I cannot see you guys and you can see me?
We have moved our camera.
Okay. Yes. Now I can see. Hi. That's a nice office you have over there.
Thank you.
All right, that's good. Any other feedback on using this system? Because this system is ideal for some of the students. There are students that are quite distant from the main campus, particularly not in this course, but the other course that I'm conducting using Zoom is IS433, Advances in ICT this semester. And we have students enrolled in what we call the Lodala campus and Lautoka campus. And some of the Lautoka students are from Nandi, Ba, Tavua, and so forth. So I think this system is ideal for them. Anyway, moving on. Any questions or comments on the assessments or the proceedings of today, the lecture and whatever? Nothing at all. So let's see the roll call today. So there's 3 over here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And how many in the lab?
5.
5, 8, or 9. 9 plus 5, 14. 14 out of 19 students. That's not bad. It's not bad. What this lecture is being recorded, so what I'm going to do is place it on the Moodle as well. So if you have friends in this course that were not able to get online today and join us, they can catch the recorded video of this lecture. So if there's no other students, then thank you for attending, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Semish, you there?
Yeah, we are done.
Control, are you? Control, come in, control.
Yeah.